The silent observer. Commander Alexis Thorne stood at the viewport of orbital station Artemis, watching Earth rotate peacefully below. From this distance, the birthplace of humanity appeared tranquil, its oceans gleaming under the sun's light, giving no indication of the revolutionary work happening in the secure facilities hidden across its surface and beneath its seas. "Commander, the consortium delegation has arrived," Lieutenant Reyes announced through Thorne's neural interface. "They're requesting their quarterly inspection of our fusion facilities." Thorne allowed herself a brief smile before composing her features into the expected expression of deferential gratitude. "Tell them I'll meet them shortly." These inspections had become routine over the past decade, representatives from the Galactic Consortium arriving with their air of technological superiority to observe humanity's primitive attempts at advancement. The crystalline Vexari, the gaseous Mithrians, and the insectoid Krell all took turns monitoring Earth's development with barely concealed amusement. "Humans are so determined," Envoy Zolthorn of the Vexari had once commented, his crystalline form shimmering with what Thorne recognized as condescension. "Perhaps in another century, you'll achieve reliable interstellar travel." What none of them knew, what humanity had kept hidden for 15 years, was that Earth had discovered something far more fundamental than the brute force approach to space travel the consortium species employed. In a facility buried deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, Dr. Rhea Kapoor adjusted the controls of what her team had designated the Nexus Chamber. The device before her represented technology the consortium considered theoretically impossible, a way to manipulate the fabric of space-time without tearing it apart. Dimensional resonance at 98.4%. The facility AI reported. No detectable leakage in subspace bands. Rhea nodded, dark eyes reflecting the swirling patterns of energy contained within the chamber. For nearly 2 decades, humanity had maintained an elaborate charade. While the consortium races shared their advanced technology, primarily consisting of enormous engines that brute forced their way through space-time, humans had discovered the universe's own shortcuts. "Begin test sequence Omega," Rhea commanded. The chamber hummed to life, its hexagonal walls containing energies that would make even the most advanced consortium scientists question their understanding of physics. They had always assumed that faster-than-light travel required incredible amounts of power to tear holes in the fabric of reality. Humanity had found a different approach, elegant, efficient, and completely beyond their comprehension. In orbit, the Vexari observation vessel's sensors recorded nothing unusual. Their crystalline crew continued monitoring what they believed to be Earth's rudimentary attempts at advancing beyond their solar system. The ship's dimensional arrays, sophisticated as they were, failed to detect the subtle ripples in reality emanating from the ocean below. "Phase 3 complete," the AI announced. Dimensional corridor stability exceeding all previous parameters. Rhea allowed herself a moment of satisfaction. The consortium's dismissal of humanity had been their greatest gift. Their patronizing attitude had given humans the freedom to pursue theories that alien civilizations had dismissed centuries ago. While they focused on perfecting their approach to interstellar travel, humanity had discovered that the universe itself provided natural pathways between points in space for those who understood how to perceive and access them. Commander Thorne finished her tour with the consortium delegation, maintaining her practiced expression of humble gratitude as they offered suggestions for improving Earth's propulsion efficiency. The senior observer, Envoy Zolthorn, vibrated in what passed for amusement among the Vexari. "Your species shows admirable persistence," Zolthorn said, light refracting through his crystalline form in complex patterns. "Perhaps in another generation, you'll be ready to join the Junior Council of Interstellar Races." "We are grateful for the consortium's guidance," Thorne responded diplomatically, while mentally reviewing the classified reports from the Nexus project. The dimensional corridor network was nearly operational. Soon, humanity would demonstrate that the most significant breakthroughs often come from those dismissed as inconsequential. Back in the underwater facility, Rhea received an encrypted message from orbital station Artemis. The consortium delegation had departed, satisfied with their observations of humanity's apparent technological limitations. She immediately initiated the next phase of testing. "Begin full-spectrum dimensional field generation," she commanded. The chamber's energy patterns shifted, forming connections with similar facilities hidden around the globe. Each one had been built in locations naturally shielded from conventional detection, deep underground, beneath oceans, or masked by Earth's own magnetic anomalies. What the consortium never understood was that humanity's greatest strength wasn't raw technological power, but its ability to perceive patterns that others missed. While alien civilizations built ever larger engines to force their way through space, humans had learned to listen to the universe itself. "Network synchronization complete," the AI reported. All nodes reporting optimal dimensional coherence. Rhea studied the holographic display showing the interconnected dimensional fields. Soon, this network would allow humanity to reveal itself to the galactic community in a way that would forever change the balance of power, not through conquest or technological superiority, but by understanding something that had eluded the consortium for millennia. The universe was not meant to be forced, but to be danced with. The first warning signs appeared in the Centauri sector. Consortium ships reported unusual fluctuations in their faster-than-light drives, subtle distortions that their most advanced sensors struggled to explain. The massive engines that had powered their civilizations for millennia were encountering something new, something that defied their understanding of physics. Rhea noticed the anomalies during a routine dimensional scan. The holographic displays in the Nexus facility showed ripples in space-time that shouldn't have been visible, spreading like cracks in reality itself. She immediately contacted Commander Thorne through their secure quantum link. "Alexis, you need to see this," Rhea said, transmitting the data. "The consortium's approach to FTL travel is having precisely the effect we predicted. They're literally tearing apart the fabric of space-time." In her office aboard Artemis, Thorne studied the readings with growing concern. The consortium's massive ships, each powered by engines that forced their way through reality, were creating cumulative damage that their sensors weren't designed to detect. It was like watching someone slowly tear apart a piece of fabric while insisting the small rips weren't significant. "How long do we have?" Thorne asked, knowing the answer wouldn't be good. "Weeks, maybe less," Rhea replied. "Their ships are creating cascade failures in the natural dimensional pathways. If they don't stop soon, interstellar travel itself might become impossible, or worse." The irony wasn't lost on either of them. The very civilizations that had dismissed humanity as primitive were about to face a crisis their advanced technology couldn't solve. But humanity's dimensional corridor network, designed to work with the universe's natural pathways rather than against them, might be their only hope. Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, the Nexus chamber pulsed with increasing power as Rhea initiated their first full-scale test. The network of facilities around the globe synchronized their dimensional fields, creating a harmonious resonance with space-time itself. This was the moment they had been preparing for, though they had hoped to have more time. "Begin primary sequence for Project Hyperion," Rhea commanded. The AI immediately began coordinating the complex dance of dimensional fields, each facility contributing to a greater whole. Unlike the consortium's crude tear in spacetime, this was more like finding the seams in reality and gently spreading them apart. In orbit, the Vexari observation ship recorded another routine day of human activity. Their crystalline crew remained unaware that directly beneath them, humanity was about to achieve what their civilization had deemed impossible. The ship's dimensional arrays, sophisticated as they were, had been designed to look for brute force approaches to FTL travel. They were blind to the subtle elegance of human innovation. "Dimensional coherence at maximum," the AI reported. "All nodes synchronized, ready for first full-scale corridor generation." Rhea took a deep breath, her fingers hovering over the holographic controls. This test would either prove that humanity had found a better way, or she pushed the thought aside. "Initiate dimensional corridor sequence." The chamber's energy patterns shifted, forming what appeared to be absolute darkness. But it wasn't darkness. It was a doorway, a gentle parting of space-time that revealed the universe's own shortcuts. In her orbital office, Commander Thorne watched the live feed with carefully controlled excitement. The dimensional corridor was stable, its edges smooth and precise, unlike the ragged tear created by consortium drives. Initial readings showed zero damage to the surrounding space-time fabric. "Send in the probe," she ordered. A small, sleek device approximately the size of a human hand approached the dimensional corridor. Unlike traditional probes, this one had been designed to navigate the natural pathways of space-time. It slipped into the darkness without resistance, its sensors transmitting data back to the Nexus facility. "Probe has successfully traversed the Alpha Centauri corridor," the AI announced. "Transit time, instantaneous. No detectable stress on local space-time structure." Rhea allowed herself a small smile. They had done it. Achieved faster than light travel without damaging the very fabric of space they traveled through. But her celebration was short-lived as new data streamed across her display. The consortium ships were causing more damage with each jump, and the effects were accelerating. "Alexis," she called through their quantum link, "we need to move up the timeline. The consortium's drives are causing damage faster than our models predicted. If we don't act soon, there won't be any stable space-time left to save." Commander Thorne stood at her familiar viewport, Earth gleaming below. They had planned to reveal their technology gradually, to ease the transition and minimize political fallout. But now it seemed the galaxy's most advanced civilizations were about to learn a harsh lesson about the price of arrogance. "Begin preparation for Phase 4, she ordered. "It's time to show the consortium that sometimes the species they dismiss as primitive are the ones who see what everyone else has missed." In the Nexus facility, the dimensional corridor collapsed with perfect precision, leaving no trace of its existence. But the knowledge they had gained would soon change everything. Humanity's moment was approaching faster than anyone had anticipated, driven by the very beings who had dismissed them as unworthy of serious consideration. The seventh veil. The Galactic Consortium's Emergency Council chamber erupted in chaos. Holographic displays showed spreading webs of spatial distortion across major travel corridors, forcing thousands of ships to make increasingly dangerous detours. The Vexari High Commissioner's crystalline form vibrated with barely contained distress as they addressed the assembly. "Another major route has become impassable," they announced, their translator failing to hide their agitation. "The Proxima colonies are reporting complete drive failures in their sector. 3 million citizens risk being cut off from vital supply lines." In the Nexus facility, Dr. Rhea Kapoor watched the crisis unfold through quantum-tapped feeds. The consortium's desperate attempts to force their way through the deteriorating space lanes were only accelerating the damage. Each massive ship that activated its space-tearing drives added new stress to the already fragile fabric of reality. "They still don't understand what they're doing wrong," she muttered, watching another consortium vessel attempt to breach the growing dimensional storms with raw power. The ship's massive engines flared with enough energy to power an entire planet, trying to tear open a path through space that was already dying. Commander Thorne's voice came through their secure link. "The consortium has rejected our fourth offer to assist with their technical difficulties. Their pride won't let them accept help from a primitive species." Rhea watched as her dimensional displays showed another section of spacetime beginning to unravel. The consortium ships were like sledgehammers trying to crack eggs, effective in the short term, but ultimately destructive to the very thing they were trying to access. Deep beneath the ocean, Project Hyperion was reaching its final stages. The prototype vessel, a sleek, iridescent craft named the Hyperion, floated in its dimensional dock. Unlike the massive consortium ships with their city-sized engines, the Hyperion was elegant, almost delicate in appearance. "Final dimensional matrix integration complete," the AI reported. "All systems show green across all test parameters." Rhea walked the length of the ship, her hand trailing along its smooth surface. The hull was embedded with millions of specialized crystals, each precisely tuned to resonate with the natural frequencies of spacetime. Rather than tear holes in reality, The Hyperion would slip through existing dimensional pathways, like water flowing through natural channels. "Begin full power test sequence," she ordered. The ship's dimensional core hummed to life, creating harmonious ripples in space-time that were virtually undetectable to conventional sensors. This was humanity's greatest achievement, not just a new way to travel through space, but a fundamental reimagining of humanity's relationship with the universe itself. In orbit, the Vexeri observation ship continued its routine surveillance, its crew completely unaware of the revolution brewing beneath the waves. Their sensors, designed to detect the brute force approach to FTL travel, registered nothing unusual about the dimensional harmonics emanating from Earth's oceans. Commander Thorne received the test results in her orbital office. "How much longer can we wait?" she asked, knowing that each passing hour brought the galaxy closer to catastrophe. "The consortium's drive signatures are creating cascading failures in the dimensional fabric," Rhea replied, sending the latest data. "At the current rate of deterioration, we have less than 48 hours before the damage becomes irreversible. Multiple populated systems will be cut off from all FTL travel." Thorne studied the projections with growing concern. They had hoped to reveal their technology on their own terms, using careful diplomacy to manage the political fallout. But the universe, it seemed, had other plans. "The Council is about to announce emergency measures," she said, watching the secure feeds from the consortium meeting. "They're planning to deploy their entire fleet in an attempt to force open stable corridors through the dimensional storms." Rhea's response was immediate and alarmed. That would be catastrophic. The combined power of their drives would tear apart the dimensional fabric faster than it can repair itself. Entire sectors could become permanently unreachable. In the Nexus Command Center, Rhea brought up a galactic map showing the spread of spatial distortions. The damage was no longer confined to major travel routes. It was beginning to affect the fundamental structure of spacetime throughout the galaxy. The consortium's desperate attempts to maintain their travel networks were like trying to hold together a breaking dam with bare hands. "Initiate final preparation sequence for the Hyperion," Rhea commanded. "Upload all emergency protocols and rescue operations plans to the AI's primary matrix." The ship's dimensional core pulsed with increasing power as its systems came fully online. Unlike the raw energy signatures of consortium vessels, the Hyperion's dimensional field was barely detectable, a whisper rather than a shout, a gentle request rather than a demand. Commander Thorne made her decision. "Begin Phase 4 implementation. We can't wait any longer. Humanity will have to step onto the galactic stage, whether we're ready or not." Throughout the Nexus facility, crews began final preparations for emergency deployment. The Hyperion's dimensional crystals pulsed in perfect harmony, ready to demonstrate that sometimes the greatest power comes not from forcing your will upon the universe, but from learning to work within its natural laws. As the crisis in space reached its breaking point, humanity prepared to reveal that they had found a better way. The galaxy was about to learn that true advancement often comes from those who have been dismissed as too primitive to matter. The consortium's emergency session reached a fever pitch as reports flooded in of entire star systems becoming isolated as dimensional storms consumed the stable travel corridors. High Commissioner Zal Thorne was in the middle of announcing their desperate last measure when every communication device in the chamber simultaneously activated. "This is Commander Alexis Thorne of Earth." Her image appeared before the assembled representatives. "We are aware of the dimensional crisis affecting galactic travel networks and are prepared to offer immediate assistance." The chamber erupted in dismissive chatter until Zal Thorne raised a crystalline appendage for silence. "While we appreciate your concern, Commander, this is a matter requiring advanced dimensional physics and technology far beyond Earth's current capabilities." Thorne's expression remained neutral. "With respect, High Commissioner, the crisis you're facing is the result of cumulative damage to the natural dimensional fabric caused by the consortium's brute force approach to faster-than-light travel. We have developed an alternative technology that works with the universe's natural pathways rather than against them." Before Zal Thorne could respond, The sensors throughout the consortium station detected something impossible, a vessel appearing directly in space outside the council chamber, bypassing all defensive measures and detection systems. The Hyperion hovered there, its iridescent hull catching the light of the nearby star in ways that seemed to bend reality itself. "What is the meaning of this?" demanded the Krell representative, their insectoid form vibrating with alarm. "How did that vessel bypass our security?" "It didn't bypass anything." Raya's voice joined the communication. "The Hyperion travels through the 7th-dimensional plane, a layer of reality your sensors aren't designed to detect. We've been developing this technology for 15 years, while you've been monitoring our primitive fusion experiments." On the main view screen, the Hyperion performed a series of maneuvers that defied conventional physics, appearing to fold space around itself rather than move through it. Sensor readings showed no dimensional distortion, no space-time damage, only a gentle ripple that actually seemed to soothe the surrounding dimensional storms. "Impossible," whispered the Mithrian scientist, their gaseous forms swirling in confusion. "This violates every principle of dimensional physics." "Not violates," Rhea corrected. "Transcends. Your approach to faster-than-light travel has always been to tear holes in reality and force your way through. We discovered that the universe already has doors if you know how to knock." The Hyperion's demonstration continued as it initiated a sequence that the human crew had designated dimensional harmonization. The ship's crystals pulsed in unison, creating a cascading wave that spread outward, smoothing the jagged tears in space-time caused by generations of consortium ships. "We're detecting reduced dimensional instability in the Proxima corridor," reported a Vexeri technician, their crystalline form vibrating with disbelief. "The pathway is healing itself. The Hyperion isn't forcing the dimensional fabric to change," Thorne explained. "It's reminding it of its natural state, like setting a broken bone so it can heal properly." In the uncomfortable silence that followed, High Commissioner Zalthorne's crystalline structure dimmed slightly, the Vexari equivalent of humility. "It appears we have much to learn from Earth. Perhaps we were premature in our assessment of your species' capabilities. We're prepared to share our technology," Thorne offered, "but with conditions. The consortium must abandon its current approach to interstellar travel and adopt methods that work with the universe rather than against it. We stand ready to assist in the transition." As the Hyperion continued its work, stabilizing dimensional corridors throughout the nearby sectors, the consortium representatives watched in silence. The species they had dismissed as primitive had just demonstrated mastery of dimensional physics that went beyond anything in their scientific understanding. In the following weeks, human ships, all equipped with the 7th-dimensional drive technology, deployed throughout the galaxy, repairing the damage caused by generations of consortium travel. Earth was quickly elevated to full membership status in the Galactic Consortium, with Commander Thorne and Dr. Kapoor leading a new division focused on sustainable dimensional travel. The massive consortium engines were gradually decommissioned, replaced by the elegant, efficient human technology that worked in harmony with the universe. It was a difficult transition for many species, particularly those who had taken pride in their technological superiority, but the undeniable benefits of the human approach made resistance futile. On the observation deck of the newly commissioned Galactic Research Station, Thorne and Rhea stood side by side, watching stars that would have been unreachable just months earlier. "Do you think they understand yet?" Rhea asked, gesturing toward a group of consortium scientists studying the Hyperion's dimensional core. "That the universe rewards those who listen rather than those who shout." Thorne smiled. "They're beginning to. The Vexeri have already incorporated some of our dimensional harmonics into their architecture. The Mithrians are exploring applications for atmospheric stabilization. And the Krell? Still suspicious, but they've stopped calling us primitive apes, so that's progress." They shared a laugh as the station's dimensional field gently pulsed around them, a reminder that sometimes the quietest voice in the room has the most profound things to say. Humanity had changed the galaxy not by conquering it, but by understanding it in ways the older species had forgotten to try. In the vastness of space, the dimensional corridors flowed smoothly once more, healing from centuries of abuse. And if one looked closely enough, at just the right angle, they might catch a glimpse of the Hyperion as it slipped between the folds of reality, not tearing the fabric of the universe, but dancing with it.